Hello everybody, I'm Johnny Ray, and today we're going to be learning the basics of skateboarding. We are going to learn today how to tell which foot of yours rides forward, meaning what stance you are, whether you're goofy and or regular. And we're going to be learning how to get on a board appropriately and safely, learn how to push, get on the board, ride, and safely come to a complete stop. Something that I believe everybody really should know, because everybody should get to feel what it's like to ride a skateboard, longboard, whatever your preference is. This is going to get you there safely. Let's get going. Alright, so first thing we're going to need to find out is which foot of yours goes forward, which means which stance you are. There's two main stances. You've got regular and you've got goofy. Best reference we can use is which foot you kick a ball with. So think about it for a moment. If you have to reenact it, think about which foot you kick the ball with. For me, it's the right foot. That would mean that on a board, I'm going to use my right foot forward. Alright, so once we figured out which is that front foot, meaning that foot that you kick the ball with, we're going to take that front foot and place it on the back two of the front four bolts. I'll show you. Standing next to your board, you're going to want to put that front foot directly over the bottom two of the front bolts. Now, big key thing here, we never want to cover the front two bolts. When we're first starting, this area is what I call the danger zone. So we don't want the foot to ever cross into the danger zone when we're about to push. So you're not going to be rolling right away. What you want to do is you want to prepare yourself. So find a nice location, whether it's carpet or a patch of grass just like this, to start working on your balancing and how to best get on the board appropriately. Alright, so once we've taken the first couple of steps of knowing which that front foot is, placing it on the bottom two of the front four bolts, we're going to start to bring our head over the front foot so you can look directly down onto your big toe. Once you have that head placement over, you're going to notice that your weight is going to be mainly over that foot that is on the board. In that place, you're going to be able to start to take the weight off the foot that's on the ground. For me, it's the left foot. For you, it's whatever the pushing foot is. And we're just going to start to hover it a little bit so you can feel the muscle engagement. All right, so we've got the front foot on, the head is over the front foot. You're looking directly down at your big toe. Take that left foot or that pushing foot and begin to slowly hover it off the ground, and notice the engagement on the foot that is on the board. You'll notice that if you hover that pushing foot long enough, the muscles on top of the knee are going to start to burn. That's what we want. This is your balance muscle, if you will, on that foot. The stronger we get that muscle, the more comfortable you're going to feel and look on your board. So once we've got that hovering down and we can trust that front foot, the foot that's on the board more, we're going to start to act like we're going to be pushing. So take a look at having the foot off the ground long enough so that you can start to act like you're pushing, and give yourself a nice range of motion here. Go as far forward and as far back as you can, giving you more wiggle room in that front foot to build the muscle fully rounded. Once you've got that about 3 to 4 times, we're going to hover that foot directly onto the tail of your board. The tail is what we call the furthest point back of your skateboard. Usually on any board they will have, most boards I will say, except for longboards, they will have a kick or a lifted area on the board. So I'm going to enact that for you so you can see. We're going to start off with 3 pushes. Okay? Go ahead and head over the front foot, lift the left foot, hovering it just slightly, and slowly start without moving your head to shift your weight completely over that front foot as you push. Once that third push comes around, don't jump on the board. Hover the foot all the way to the tail before allowing any of your weight to transfer into that back foot. So lifting, hovering that left or that pushing foot, and then using that foot to enact like you're pushing. Again, try to really push that foot forward and all the way back to build that muscle as strong and as wide range as possible. Once that third push comes around, allow that back foot to hover all the way to the tail of the foot before allowing any motion into shifting that weight onto the back foot. Not fully. Now you can even the weight out between the front and back foot. Here we're almost at full riding position, but you will notice that that front foot is still facing directly forward. Now, big key point here, we never lift our front foot, because that will not only lift the board but shoot you completely out of balance. We want to make sure that we leave our foot pressed down, put pressure on your big toe, and start to swing the heel over till the front foot is paralleling the back foot like so. Shifting without lifting or taking full weight off the front foot. We'll reenact that one more time. The front foot will leaving weight on the toes and the ball of the foot, just swing the heel from back to front. This is the riding position. This is where you want to be when you're riding your board to make sure you can turn correctly. Now that we've reached full riding position, I want to talk to you about something very important. I touched on it. We never take any weight off our feet completely, because that's going to allow the board to start to shift. So once we're on the board, this is something for you to really practice, is getting around on your board without taking weight completely off. We call it the toe heel method, but you're always going to shimmy your foot, whether you need to get into a better position or you're going to start to learn tricks. You're going to shift from the kick flip position to the heel flip position. You're never going to be able to just lift your foot and replace it, because that's going to pop the board up. We're going to shimmy toe to heel, forward and back. Come down and I'll show you. So from that riding position, we will always use toe heel to move around the board without letting the board ever pop up. And this is for both your front foot and your back foot. Now, use this as a rule of thumb. There's never really going to be a reason for you to lift your foot. It's just dangerous, period. Let's just learn both back foot and front foot to shimmy from toe heel, from front to back of the board. It's a wonderful thing for you to practice, so that once you're out and the concrete's there, you have a way to move around without freaking out and further avoiding any spills. Now, I know you might be thinking, good thing we're already riding, but how are we going to stop? The wonderful thing about it is you're just going to reverse the exact same method that we got to riding. So, front foot is going to be shifting back to the front position, just as we were when we were pushing, because technically we're getting back into a position where we can push some more and or stop. So that front foot is going to turn forward once again. Now, once that front foot is forward, we're going to shift all our weight back to the front foot, looking directly down at that big toe, and then hovering the back foot down. All right, so that front foot, like I stated, is going to just shift forward. Remember, never lifted. We're just going to heel toe ourselves back to facing forward, the same pushing position. And then we're going to put our head over that front foot, looking straight down to that big toe, and then hovering the back foot very gently back down to the ground as so. And that is literally it for stopping. I'm going to reset so you guys can see it once again. I'm pushing, putting the back foot on the tail. Front foot then shifts over parallel to a riding position. Once we want to stop or push again, front foot turns forward, face over the front foot to make sure our weight is on the front foot, so we can hover the back foot gently back down into either that stopping or that once again pushing. Really emphasize yourself on practicing this off the concrete. I know you're probably really excited to get rolling, but the last thing we want to do is take a bad fall where your confidence is taken away from you and then you have any fear. So let's avoid the fear. Let's really get comfortable. Practice that on carpet, on the grass, or on the board that stands still. And once we're done with that and we really feel confident, then we can take it over to the concrete, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Follow me. Now that we're on the concrete, we're just going to go through the exact same steps, and it does help when you talk to yourself in your head about the steps. So we're going to start with that front foot going onto the back two bolts of the front truck, shifting our head right over the front board, looking directly down at the big toe. Start to slowly just hover that foot until you feel confident enough to start to very gently sweep that foot from front to back. Right, I'm going to do a couple full body demonstrations so you can see the body mechanics and the body positioning as I go through the steps that we just learned. Now, remember, we're going to start with the front foot over the bottom two of the front four bolts. Once we have the foot positioned there, we're going to put our head over that front foot, and we're going to start to hover that pushing foot just slightly to engage the muscles. Act out the push first before you actually push forth and back. Now make sure that when you do, you keep it nice and slow motion so you can hover the back foot, feel comfortable, and avoid any spills in the beginning. The front foot goes back forth before we put the back foot back down, whether we're going to push or we're going to get off. So there's the front foot over the bolt. Here's the hovering. Act like you're pushing out first before we grace the floor to get any momentum going. Once the momentum's at play, put the back foot straight to the tail. And now I really want you guys to practice mounting and dismounting as much as possible so we can be safe and sound. So now that you've got that initial getting on the board, pushing and stopping, really don't skip this piece. Don't think it's not important. A solid push, a solid cruise is really the foundation for any other trick. It's going to make you feel confident, and it's also going to give you the style that you ultimately are going to want to just feel like yourself. Those are the keys that are going to help you evolve quickly and keep you the safest. Other than that, have a blast, enjoy your skateboard. I'm glad that you're choosing to ride one. No matter what type of board you're riding, get out there and enjoy this beautiful weather. Foot, head over, and ride away.